I'm just waiting for 10 a.m. Give this time to warm up. Welcome to QuiltTube number 55. At least I think I have the numbering right. I think I had yesterday's wrong, so I updated it. You guys, I started doing this and I'm almost done. I'm almost done with the hand binding. I got more than half of it done. So this is what the back of my binding looks like when it's hand stitched down. And this is the front of the part that's completed. Oh, I just love this. I just love it. I only have maybe one thread left to do from where this one is to this bottom corner on this other side. So it's only like 1/4 of it. So almost done with it. And then it'll go in the washing machine and then I'll get it on my table. Oh, so exciting. She's so pretty. She is so pretty. Yeah, I love that green. It's such a pretty green. Right. So I had brought out my binding bag the other day and didn't go through it, but I have like extra needles and stuff in this little bag. And I have this little box, and this is like one of those little boxes that used to have clips in it. These little, oh, they're in here. It had a whole bunch of these and stuff in them. So I use my little magnetic sew tights thing on the top and any other magnetic things that I have. But and needles get stuck on there. So the one that I'm currently using is the one that sits on the top. And it's my little, and I don't know if you can see this, but it's a little bent. It's a little bent. And I like it like that to go through my for binding. And then I just throw the clips back in here. But this is the thread that I'm using to hand stitch it down. In this little bag, I've also got like this little container of waxes. I use that for like, I don't know. I don't use it very often at all. I've also got black thread in here. And the reason for that is, that's another little box I have over here to show you. I have extra thimbles. I have some DMC floss in here for whatever reason. I was working on some project. This belongs over here too. But I kind of use these two things interchangeably. There's another kind of thimble that I have. But my favorite thimble, and the one that I use the most, is this one right here. And it's a clover one. So and it fits just perfectly. And I also have in here a seam ripper. This one here. From Riley Blake, just in case I need it. And I have these little, they're little silicone things that you could put in your hands. So sometimes when you're stitching, or when I'm stitching, I should say, I put it on my pinky finger because I can, if I have to pull hard on the thread, this will keep it in place. So I don't, because I will sometimes like dig into the corner of my finger here. So I will put that on if I need it, but I don't typically do a whole lot of yanking and stuff. It depends on what craft project I'm currently working on, but I had to put my binding clips back where they belong. I also have another pair of scissors in here, and it is this kind of scissors. They have the duckbill one, so I can get down close. Maybe for like hand quilting and things like that. So let me get my little clips out of here because I need those. I need those for, I ran out of them when I was putting this other thing together here, but I've got like supplies and stuff in here for binding and things like that. So I keep all of that in there, and that goes over there. Okay, so that's kind of like my binding little bag, and I made it out of a vintage, I know, I think it was like a dresser cloth. I put a green zipper on it, and I hand stitched some little decorative cross stitches across the top, and then this side here just has like a straight stitch. But that's my binding project bag. So the other thing I worked on, and I've already gotten a good start on it this morning because I didn't need to do any like fabric pull or anything because I'm using the same fabrics that the Fat Quarter Shop is doing. But week 2 for the Spooky and Sweet Sew Along project is out, and we are making these stars. This bigger one, which is 11.5 by 13.5. Unfinished, and then the other one is 2 stars that will finish unfinished at 6.5 by 13.5. So I'm going to do these, and I've already started. I've got all of the pieces cut out, and I've already made the first units, which are 4 of these little cute little, and I think they even have names for some of the units. For the Spirit Star block, says trim sweet half square triangle unit to measure 2 by 2. So there was some sweet half square. This is the sweet half square. So I thought that was really cute. So there's all my pieces as I lose one. So those are all ready, and I've started making them. So you will see, I will finish these up here this morning. You will see my stars, and I'll start getting that all together. So that'll be done by the within the next hour or two. I'm going to do that right after this video and finish that up. So this project box can get set aside too. And then the next laundry basket quilts, I got really excited for today because this is their block. I love Hexis. I love Hexis. So I printed off a color thing of it that Edita had out on her blog. So I did that. Also picked out my fabrics because there isn't a whole lot. I'm using a same dark fabric in the middle, which is the blue polka dots that I wanted to use last week. It was a toss-up for last week's. So I'll put this in the center. And then I just picked out all of the mediums to put it to make the Hexi flowers with. So I picked out these. And this one. And this lovely gem. And this one. So those were all of the larger pieces that I have. And then I picked out one more, which was just a charm square. And to go with the dot. And then I picked out, this is my background because I haven't used it yet. It's a little fat eighth of, you know, the dove, the bird and the leaf. I picked out that to be. This is my flower. And I will pull out a board here and we'll lay that all out in there. So this is going to be my flower. And I'm excited about this because I really like Hexis. I'm excited about this one. So I printed off, I had to print it twice because I took off the first one. I printed off the first one and I measured the square. And I needed to reprint because mine was not the right size. It was slightly larger than that, or it wasn't big enough. So I needed to change my printing guide for that so that it would fit, and it fits now. So all I did was just cut out one of the Hexis, and that is this. And I traced it out on, I use just regular index cards to do my Hexis on. And I drew out the 7 that are needed. And I will cut each one of those out. And I use this fancy set of scissors. These are a Tim Holtz scissors, and they have a very fine serrated, this fits really well, edge on them. So I get them cut out very, 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 very nicely. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Now, I don't know if you wanted to see how I do this. That's my template, so I don't want to use that. But this is also like my Hexi box where I keep all of the supplies for that. So I keep thread, and I had used, it depends on the color of the fabric, which, because I will thread based all of my things. And I got away from using the glue and just went to thread. And no, I didn't have to buy any more glue, even though they're cheap. And I have in here a needle book where I keep a lot of little needles and things, other little supplies, little safety pins and stuff for other craft projects too. And I do use this on occasion. It's just a fingernail file to help fold over fabric over the edges of my cardboard template. And in here, I also have like some things that are also in the making. So I was making these little Hexi flowers. I was in the springtime mood to make some of those. So, and these are all thread basted, and I did thread base these with the white thread, and you can't even see it. So I would do it in a manner in which I could actually see it. But when you're up close, you can see them. But these are the little flowers for those. And then these are leftovers because I can use these cards over and over again. I have used them like 5, 6, 7 times in some instances. And you can tell by the number of holes that are in them. But so those are extras because I have pieces cut in here to make a couple more Hexi flowers. One was kind of a blue-green. And this was done, this is like a Riley Blake Liberty fabric, I think. If I'm not, no, it wasn't. I did have some, but I didn't. These are from a different charm pack. But I will say I get a lot of cute little charm packs like this that will make good Hexis. So those are in there to be made. I have also a bobbin with some gray thread on it. It's like that dove color from Aurifil, because I use that to stitch them together. And it will depend on the fabric, but if I use the gray ones on these, you don't see them. So you don't see those. I have another thimble in here. Not often will I use this one, but it's there in case I need it. Another pair of little tiny little embroidery scissors and a bunch more of the cards. So I can do the tracing of my Hexis. So I've already done the ones for today. I'm going to use the black thread. I don't need that. So I'm going to set that aside, but I will, I'm going to cut out one. So let's cut out one here. And then I'm going to use different glasses so I can see. Typically, I use, when I'm actually stitching them together, I use my magnifying glasses that I use for my cross stitch, and like to do it in the bright light next to my sofa. So I'll cut the one out, and then I kind of measure it because this is a size. I don't know if it's the same size as ones that I've ever worked with before, and I think it is, but I'll determine how big of a square I need to cut out of my fabric. I typically like to cut all of them out just to make sure that they're all like the same size. So get that out of the way. And then I'll cut this piece of fabric out. Set this aside. And let's get a measurement here of the Hexi. Like, where did it go? And this ruler. And I just cut a square. I don't do too much about like the 1/4 inch thing or anything like that, because if it's a little bulky, I like it to be like that. Like these others that I have done, I've got quite a bit of fabric folded over on the back, and it just adds a little dimension to the flower when I stitch it down onto the fabric and makes it a little bit poofy. So I like that look. So I just cut a regular square. I don't try to do anything extra or special. So yeah, 2.5 inch square ought to do it. That gives me at least a minimum of 1/4 inch all the way around. So I will cut all of my squares. I did change out my rotary blade. So I'm very happy with that. So I will then center this in the middle of the square. And I will finger press an edge on this. And then I'll grab some thread. I'll use a small one. And I will thread my needle. I don't do any knots at the end of it. I can't even see what I'm doing here because I don't have my magnifying glasses. My 0.5s are downstairs. Well, let's try this. This might not be the right size needle head for that. Yeah, not big enough. And it really doesn't matter to me which needle I use for this part. It doesn't have to be a thin one, doesn't have to be a thick one. For this part, just the basting part. Let's try a different needle and see if that works better. This might have a bigger eye on it. Might. Yep, there we go. So I don't put any knots in the end of it. I fold over the one side, stick my needle in on that folded fabric, leave a tail. It can be long, it can be short, however you feel comfortable with. Fold over the other edge, put my needle in at where the fabrics come together and come out right in the center. Don't pull too hard, otherwise you'll pull the edge out, the end out. And then I fold over another side, and where the folds come together, put that through, fold over the other edge. And again, I'm using a dark thread, so you're probably not going to see this. Fold over that one, get this one in, fold over that end, come out in the middle. And then I'll come over here and I will fold the other end in together. And again, I just go in the corner. This is the last one, come out in the middle. And then I'll go in again at that other corner, come out in the middle. And then I do one last little stitch just as a security measure. Cut that off. And I have my first little hexie here. You see my stitching? And this is the back of it. Yeah. And then once I get all 7 of them made, I will start the hand stitching the edges together. And then I will hand baste it or hand stitch it with a blind stitch so you don't see it onto the square of fabric that I will be using for for that. So I am really, I love Hexis, and I was like, oh, I haven't done one in a minute. So I'm really looking forward to getting to this. So I got one fabric done. I will cut out the other 6 flower petals, and I will cut 2.5-inch squares from each of those. Where did I put those fabrics? Here they are. I will use the rest of this, and tomorrow you will see my Hexi. Because it will take me, what, 20 minutes to throw together. Once I get them all cut out and basted, I can get like a Hexi done in like less than half an hour. So I will press this, cut out a square. I'll probably do a little fussy cutting so that around the outside you'll see like a bird or something. So I think that fabric is so pretty. And then I'll make my heart, and I'll probably use this as my heart on top of that fabric. Either that or one of these will probably strike my fancy as well. So there we go. Those are the choices that I have for this week's block. My Hexi flower, and I'm really excited about doing that. And this is Ditta's version of it versus my version of it. So I can't wait to show you that tomorrow. And my 2 flower or star blocks for the Spooky and Sweet mystery quilt along. I have links below for everything. I've got all of the pieces cut for the last 30, and I just got started. There's another tie piece in the sewing machine right now. I just got started on the first one, just working on the first units for the Spooky and Sweet sew along. So I'm looking forward to that, showing you the final products tomorrow. And then tomorrow we have another new sew along starting with Pat Sloan for Black Wednesday. So I will be pulling out my fabrics for that and probably getting a good go in the morning. So after I watch her video in the morning, so we'll see how much I get done before our video tomorrow. So I'm going to be cutting out the rest of my Hexis that are on my index cards and getting to work on getting this flower put together. Yay, I'm excited. Remember to change your settings on your printer to do actual size. So these are now scratch paper. All right, I'm going to go to work on my Spooky and Sweet blocks, these Hexis, my vintage bow ties, and I will probably have this finished later on this evening. I started doing it last night as I was sitting in front of the TV, so I'm really excited about it. So I hope you guys have a good Tuesday. It's about to rain here. It's very gray outside, and they're talking about rain like within the next hour. So I don't know if I'll be outside today or not. I didn't get out yesterday. Depends on how hard it rains. So I'll get out to work. But I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow with these 2 blocks. And we'll work on a new sew along, quilt along starting tomorrow. You guys have a good day. Love you. Bye.